Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for tuning in, guys. Good morning, guys. Today is a very special day in professional wrestling right now, and that is Eddie Guerrero, guys. Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. It's been 10 years, guys. Today marks the day where Eddie Guerrero had his death, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to share this everywhere. It's Twitter, Facebook. Tell all your friends about this, guys, because it's a very special Memorial Day for Eddie Guerrero in professional wrestling, guys. It's been a long time, and there's tears to shed and love around that we love Eddie Guerrero. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have an awesome guest here on my show who's going to be part of the show. Who knows Eddie Guerrero like I do, and that's DMA 112790, man. Welcome to the show. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show again.
No problem, man. So, what do you remember about the late great Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat guy in professional wrestling?
Okay, let me just say this. Somewhere down the line, I'm going to do a top 10 wrestling video. My top 10 favorite wrestlers. Eddie Guerrero's in there. I'm not going to tell you what number, but he's in there. He was by far my favorite wrestler back in 2004, when he became champion. Because he beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. Yeah, WrestleMania 20 it was. And he had, they had one of the greatest matches ever. And Eddie Guerrero was so funny. Like, that's what I loved about him, was the fact that he was funny in that ring. Because he used to do a thing, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this, where he would take a steel chair and he would give it to his opponent and lay on the ground while the referee was distracted.
Right.
And the referee would look and see Eddie Guerrero on the ground with the opponent holding the chair.
Right.
That was hilarious to me. I love that. And also, Eddie Guerrero was part of a legendary wrestling family called, the Guerrero family. The Guerrero family. Legendary wrestling family. His father, Gory Guerrero, is a legendary wrestler.
Right.
His nephew, Chavo. His brother, Chavo Guerrero. Hector. All of that. He's been, part of a big wrestling family. He's probably one of the most talented Guerreros. He's probably one of the most talented wrestlers I've ever seen. And I love, his finishing move. The 5-star frog splash was great. One of my favorite feuds of all time was the feud that he was in with Rey Mysterio. And
yes.
They were real friends in real life. They were like best friends in real life. That's in my opinion, I think that's one of that was a good part of Eddie Guerrero's career when in 2005 that was one of his favorite matches. I think that's a lot of people remember, Eddie Guerrero when he fought, Rey Mysterio, man. I think that was one of his best matches in his career. When he fought Rey Mysterio, and in 2005, that's when Eddie Guerrero actually turned heel. Since he's been in the company. In 2005, he was a heel, and I thought he did a great, phenomenal job as a character being a heel, instead of not being a baby face no more. I agree, because he was phenomenal as a heel. I mean, he was good as a baby face, but
right.
As a heel, he was one of the best heels during that time. He was actually one of the best heels, period, around that time, because if you think about all the heels that were around during 2005, Eddie Guerrero played like the top scariest, heel. I mean, during that storyline where, he told Dominic that he was his father, Eddie Guerrero played like this demonic, evil character.
Like he was possessed.
But he was like so demonically, just, I don't know if demonically is the right word, but he was so like evil and like, it was crazy. And, and especially the feud that he had with his own nephew, Chavo Guerrero, that was something.
Right.
So Eddie Guerrero was just, he was great. Every match that he had was great.
Right.
I think, he's one of the best heels he was a great babyface. You know, he was just an all right down good wrestler, and I really love Eddie Guerrero, man. And it sucks that that he's gone, but it's a relief that it's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years since he's been gone.
Yeah.
And you got to think of, like, you know, I remember him. I know you do too. You know, I remember watching Eddie Guerrero in WCW when he was like, remember when he had the Radicals and stuff? You know, Chris Benoit, Demon Malenko, man, and Eddie Guerrero, you know, and Raven, I think. That was a strong faction, you know, in WCW. And then they went to the WWF, and I thought, in my opinion, that was a good, you know, group, you know, because they were all talented, you know, and I liked it. You know, I thought he was good in WCW, man. And then he jumped to the WWF, man, you know. And then, you know, the Radicals, they were part of the crowd, and they came to WWF, and I thought it was an awesome moment when the Radicals came to the WWF around that time, you know.
I think it was Perry Saturn you were
Yes, Perry Saturn. They were it was called the Radicals, and it was an awesome group, I think, you know. And Eddie Guerrero was good in WCW and around that time before he jumped to the WWF.
Exactly. And, you know, and I gotta say this, when he was part of that love triangle with China,
yes.
I don't know if you remember that, that was something different. You know, and China became Intercontinental Champion. And
Eddie Guerrero was the European champion.
Yeah, at the end of that storyline.
Right.
So it was something, you know, Eddie Guerrero he brought classiness to
right.
the storylines that he had.
He had charisma, too.
He had really great charisma. I really do think that. And that was the main, you know, part of it. Like, he had like really great charisma. He was just an alright great wrestler, and he's actually one of my favorites of all time. I said that at the beginning of this, but you know, and he's a good man. He was a good man outside of wrestling too.
Yes, he was.
I mean, I think he had like, was it 3 girls? Yeah. He was a father to 3 girls.
Yes, he did.
I remember in interviews, people were saying that they would go to Eddie Guerrero for advice. And of course, the late great Chris Benoit was one of Eddie Guerrero's best friends.
Yes, he was.
You know, and there was a whole circle of them. You know, Chris Jericho was one of Eddie Guerrero's best friends. Chavo, who, you know, who is Eddie Guerrero's nephew, but they're like best friends. Rey Mysterio and Chris Benoit, you know. And it was just that day when he passed away. I remember that day very frequently. I was in my room, and my mom says, David, just read in the paper that Eddie Guerrero passed away, and I was just sitting, you know, in my brother's room, just crying hysterically, and like, this can't be, you know, is this like fake? Is this like a storyline type thing? Like, I just couldn't believe it.
Right. Well, it was all over. It was all over the news, you know, and a lot of people, you know, they didn't want to believe that Eddie Guerrero died because, you know, but if, you know, Eddie Guerrero did a lot for the business, you know, just like other wrestlers did. You know, people he was well loved in the back of the business. You know, he did a lot for people. He helped a lot of people out in the company. You know, wrestlers. You know, there was other wrestlers that asked for help too. You know, he had DVDs out. You know, it just overall, man. He was well loved in that company, man. You know, a lot of people, you know, in his DVD, man, you know, when he was a kid, he actually, you know, he had actually had a ring in his yard. Then, you know, kids had other stuff, but he had a wrestling ring in his backyard because he was passionate about wrestling. He loved it. And, you know, he became a star, you know, in 2004, man, at No Way Out. He won his first WWE champion, man, since he's been in the company, and he became a champion. And then, you know, that was his greatest moment by watching that moment where he wins the when he wins the WWE title, at No Way Out 2004, and Eddie Guerrero's on the cover of that DVD, man, I could keep watching that over and over that on the network or on the DVD, man.
And then he lost to the JBL.
Right. But Eddie has done so much, man, in his career, and it sucks, though, because, you know, if he was still alive, he could have great matches with more people, man, if he didn't die. I mean, it sucks that, you know, wrestlers die, man, because it hurts us, and a lot of people make fun of us and stuff. It's like when you hooked on to a wrestler that you love and you look up to, man, it really does bother you because you loved Eddie Guerrero, and how can you not hate Eddie Guerrero? The guy has done so much for the company, you know, and for us fans.
I agree.
You know.
You're right.
So, is there any moments that you have that you love, that you enjoyed, that you wish that you could rewatch again? I know you talked about the Rey Mysterio one, but is there any moments, you know, watching Eddie Guerrero since, you know, WCW that you missed, that you really want, that you still remember, that a moment that you loved and cherished?
I think one of my favorite moments of Eddie Guerrero was when he won the WWE Championship.
Okay.
I think that one is really, really something. And I have another one when him and Chris Benoit were in the ring at WrestleMania 20 and they were celebrating together.
Right. That's a good moment.
I can go on all day with Eddie Guerrero moments, but my favorite moment is when he won the WWE title at No Way Out 2004.
Right.
When he fought Brock Lesnar, because that was just like Brock Lesnar was a huge, like, big guy back then.
Yes, he was.
And to see Eddie Guerrero be a guy like that, who's bigger than him, it was incredible to see that. You know, and yes, Brock Lesnar then fought Goldberg at one of the worst WrestleMania matches ever after that, but still, I think that match, that whole Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar match, I can watch it again.
Right.
I can go back and watch that match over and over because it's one of my favorite moments.
Now, do you remember?
My favorite moment of all time, to tell you the truth.
Right. I remember. You know, the week before No Way Out was happening, when Eddie Guerrero did that promo on Brock Lesnar in the ring on SmackDown that night. I mean, that was one of his best promos, I think, around that time before No Way Out was happening.
That's another thing. He was a great promo cutter.
Right, he was.
Heel or babyface, he could cut really great promos.
You know, the guy was talented. You knew he had a future. You knew he was going to go somewheres. You know, also Eddie Guerrero did have a drug problem back then too.
He did, and he got into a car accident.
Yes, he did. He had some problems, man. He did a lot of bad stuff, but he overcame it. I thought it was really cool. Another moment too was when they had the Los Guerreros, when they were tag team champions in 2002, 2004, somewhere around that time. They had the Los Guerreros.
Los Guerreros, that was a great tag team.
Mm-hmm. Los Guerreros were awesome. They were good tag team champions. You know, Eddie Guerrero was tag team champions with other people, not just Chavo Guerrero too. You know.
Tajiri.
Right.
He was a tag team champ with Tajiri, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
So.
And Rey Mysterio.
Yes, he was a tag team. I actually liked that. I thought that was a good moment. I thought that was cool that, you know, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio were tag teams because it did fit them. You know, they had charisma. They both had talent. It both fit them. You know, and you know Batista when he fought Eddie Guerrero, that was awesome too.
Yeah.
You know, so Eddie's done a lot in the business, man, and I just want to talk about his career, man. You know, the guy's done a lot in the business, and it's just sad that, you know, that this guy had to pass away at 38 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you, if anybody's watching this show today, what would you tell people about Eddie Guerrero with all the new fans out there?
Okay. I would say this. I would say to all the newer fans out there that haven't seen or haven't heard of Eddie Guerrero, you guys need to look up some of his stuff and watch it, okay? Because he was just phenomenal. Go do your research on Eddie Guerrero, okay? Because he was so freaking talented, okay? It's unbelievable. And a lot of the newer fans out there will say, oh, Dolph Ziggler's talented, which he is. Or people would say, oh, or this guy's talented, that guy's talented. Go look up an Eddie Guerrero match, and you tell me if you feel the same way, okay? Because Eddie Guerrero was by far the best talented wrestler during that period. During that period, from like 2004 to 2003 to 2005, when he first came into the company, you know, when he was in WCW, you know, he was just an all-around talented guy. And it saddens me that newer fans don't know about, you know, Eddie Guerrero and don't know about the success that he had. Because he had really great success.
And he was in the Hall of Fame.
And he was in the Hall of Fame.
Can't forget that.
Yes, in 2006.
Right.
Which I think it's great that he was put in the same Hall of Fame as Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yes.
Who's my favorite wrestler of all time. But Eddie Guerrero, you know, is up there with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Right.
You know, and he deserved to go into the Hall of Fame. He deserved to win the championship. He deserved to be, you know, in all those tag teams. You know, and like I said before, he came from a very, you know, very, very talented wrestling family.
Yes.
All those Guerreros were talented.
Right.
You know? And like I said, Eddie Guerrero was a great champion, a great, you know, tag team champion, great. I think he was a cruiserweight champion in WCW at one point.
Yes, he was. That's correct.
Yeah, he was just an all-around great talent, and it really saddens me that he, you know, devoted his life, you know, to drugs and all that, you know, and died the way he did. Because, man, that guy, he could go somewhere today.
Right.
You know, I think he would have great matches today. You know, but it really saddens me that he's gone. But you know, it's great that it's been 10 years though. I'm still sad that he's gone. The only thing that we can do is go back and relive his matches.
Right.
And we can remember, you know, Eddie Guerrero as being a great guy. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Eddie Guerrero is that it really saddens me.
Okay. So, man, all right. So, thank you for coming on to the show, man, and leave me your thoughts and your opinions about the late great Eddie Guerrero. And I thank you all, and I thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. It's good to be back on your show, man.
No problem, man. Enjoy your morning.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there you go, guys. There's the thing about Eddie Guerrero, man. You guys let me know in the comments below what was your favorite moment of Eddie Guerrero if you watched him back then. Until then, guys, subscribe.